Hey guys, and continuing my Fall of Cybertron Generation 2 Combaticons review, we're going to continue on with Brawl. Brawl is a very cool looking Cybertronian tank, very reminiscent of what he transformed into in the game War of Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron. He's got the really cool looking G2 colour scheme with the nice purple camo. This is just a very cool vehicle, and in fact Brawl is one of my favourites out of the set. Didn't really like him at first, but he definitely has grown on me. Now he does come with another little weapon on here. He comes with a little sort of a pistol sort of thing, but it's actually modelled after the EMP shotgun, I believe, from the first War of Cybertron game. So that just pegs in there nicely out the way, but you can remove it and just have him with the simple two turrets, which look awesome. You can see it does have a very nice G2 symbol on the front. The turret rotates a full 360 degrees, so that's very nice. My only gripe about this vehicle mode really is it doesn't really stand very well. I mean, it's very wobbly, but in the actual game he was a hover tank, so we can't really blame him for that. Now, in the actual Fall of Cybertron game, he had sort of a third, or fourth, if you will, because he's a leg as well. He had sort of a weird artillery mode where he'd sort of extend these pieces and have another, so it becomes technically like a tripod, but I haven't really found a way to do that in the toy, but it would be pretty cool if you could actually do that in toy form. So if you played Fall of Cybertron, you'd know what I'm talking about. But there is Brawl, very cool little vehicle mode, nothing too major, no he does sort of have some visible head syndrome, but it's basically just the back of his head. So overall, pretty solid vehicle mode. Transformation for Brawl is fairly simple. What we're going to do is extend this section, just lift it up. Then we're going to come up here, rotate these pieces down, like so. Then we can fold out the legs, like that. Take the combiner port and just swivel it all the way up, like that. Then we have to sort of angle this down and sort of onto it like that. He's got a lot of kibble in robot mode, we'll give him that. That's a downside to him. Then we're going to fold out the feet, and he can barely stand in robot mode. So if you can get this guy to stand first try, then I'll give you a cupcake. Yeah, let's rotate out the arms, flip them off to the side, and rotate the forearm around. We can flip out his fist, like so. On this side, do the same again, rotate this out, flip out his fist, rotate around the forearm, like so. Then what we have to do is sort of push his crotch piece inside his chest, like that. And that sort of, I don't know, sort of tabs things into place a little bit more. Then, just going to flip up the head, and there we go. There is Brawl in robot mode. Now, Brawl's robot mode looks really cool from the front, but as soon as you turn him round, you can see that he's got a lot of kibble. He's basically got the entire tank cannon and the rear thrusters on his back, and that kind of sucks, but we'll give him some leeway as he does have to transform into a limb, and honestly the robot mode doesn't look too bad from the front. It actually looks really cool. Another downfall to this figure is the heels. He basically has none, and he will barely stand up. I mean, I've had to get him perfectly still to get him like that, and these feet up here really are loose, and honestly you cannot get him to stand up properly on these. You have to really fiddle with him to actually get him to stand up properly. There we go. So that kind of sucks. That definitely brings the figure down a grade for me, because I can't stand him up, and I have to put him I have to be very careful when putting him on the shelf, because he'll fall over and in turn knock loads of other figures over. So that is definitely something I want to watch out for. I've showed you the gun already. He comes with a gun, you can shove it in his hand, and away we go. In terms of detail, he's got a really nice painted head, very accurate to what he was in the game. Nice G2 symbol on the front. More silver paint apps here and there. He has more purple from the camo, some more silver. So he has been painted fairly nicely. I would like to see a little bit more on him, but he is fairly acceptable. In terms of articulation, the head is on a ball joint. You can rotate up here at the shoulders, but it's hindered because of just the way that the joint is positioned, so you can't really do much about that. Can bend in and out up here. Elbow is on a ball joint. The wrist can move due to the transformation. He has no waist articulation. He's got a ball joint up here. But he can rotate at the thigh, bend at the knee, and the feet can pivot, which is actually a pain in the arse. So yeah, fairly decent articulation, although because of the really weak feet, you can't really do much with him. Well, that's about it for Brawl's robot mode. So let's get him transformed into his limb mode. He forms, I think he forms the left leg, I think. I honestly can't remember. Anyway, first thing I'm going to do, rotate up the wrist there. Basically, we're going to go more or less into vehicle mode and just stop halfway. Rotate these out. Just to make sure everything's into place. And it can be kind of a pain in the arse to get everything to stay together, but once you get it, it's pretty okay. Put the head in, take the section, rotate it around up here, and sort of peg it. Now you can see that there's a little peg that will allow you to just peg that in there. It's kind of a pain to do, but once you get it done, it's okay. Rotate these pieces back, then we can fold out this section, peg the little tabs in here, and that will form, you know, the base of his foot. Then what we can do is rotate the legs around like so, and just sort of fold them in here, try and get them in. And it can be a bit of a pain, you have to move everything out of the way. Get in. I'll have to extend the chest, I think. There we go, there's one. And do the same on the other side. Get that in, and that's that done. Then we can peg these back together again. And now basically we just have to flip the combiner port out and take the section and just peg them in here. Where's that peg? There it is. These just sort of peg in here, like that. And there is Brawl in his leg mode. But that is it for Brawl, so stay tuned for the next part of my Combaticon review, which will be of Blast Off.